Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Collegiate Call of Duty League. We're going to wrap up the first weekend of playoffs with a matchup in losers round 3 as the University of Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, more formerly known as, will be playing up against Tespa Carleton. And, well, that's a tough task for anybody, as we've seen Oregon was the sole and most recent benefactor of a stomping from Carleton so far. And now for ULL, not quite having the way to get into the mix versus LA Tech in their second winners round game. They're going to have to find a way to start coming back into this one. They only played Oklahoma State. That was about 5 hours ago. And even in that matchup, they still dropped the search and destroy, of which they have not won a search yet in the playoffs. That's not what you want to hear if you're a ULL fan.
Nope, not even a little bit too. And even coming through that very impressive winners round 1 victory against Rutgers Scarlet, it still dropped that S&D. Like Schiff was saying, they have yet to win a single search and destroy. Though for Carleton, on the other hand, coming off of even a hot loss versus Georgia Southern, it was very competitive. You know that gas stop that they just had in losers round 2 versus Oregon, got to be feeling pretty good heading in towards our first map that you see here is Hackney Yard Hardpoint.
Solid start, though, for the Raging Cajuns. Not only do they find a couple, but they find a full wipe plus more. Carleton has not found a kill yet. Never thought I'd hear myself say that in the first handful of seconds, and Hawk will break that spree as he takes down 2, but that'll be just about it, and this has been a beautiful start for ULL. They turned this into 18 seconds worth of time on the first hard point. Not even done yet as they're seeing and sensing that there's an opening, potentially find more, but be a little bit careful here, ULL. Yeah, you just slayed out, but now your numbers are dwindling. You're a little bit short-sighted, and how about this? Carleton will find essentially a full wipe of their own, and they're starting to put some pressure on P2, but right as that pressure was about to be converted into some movement on the map, ULL spawn up, and they immediately deal with it. It was tight there for a second, but ULL hold on to the P2 spawns for now.
Still an opportunity to be tight, though. Thief had to actually, the ninja role that they're playing, snuck past the wall. They got a player on the backside, so 2 players are actually going to be pushing towards the useless building. It's actually going to be Astro that takes down Thief. Had to at least find themselves another kill or 2 before breaking in towards the P2 area. This is a fortress of a hard point, a swing point as I like to call it. If you can find yourself the value here, a full 50 plus on P2, you damn well know that your lead will be growing here, Raging Cajuns. But good kills coming in as they look to encroach towards the P2 area. It's Purple Penguin for 2 on the back end. Hawk is able to take down Bandit. It's just going to be 1 remaining player to fight out here as Cash is looking to set themselves up on the hill, but it's Zots that comes back in for 2 to put it back into the Raging Cajuns' favor.
It's still going to be a break, though. ULL never regained the spawns. Everyone has to come 1 by 1 just to try to contest the hill and hopefully win out a couple isolated gunfights. So, all intents and purposes, it's a break for Tespa Carleton, and that in its own right, maybe it could have happened sooner, but you still broke P2. That's gold stars across the board from your recent kindergarten teacher, if you're looking back on that fond memory. Again, P2 is just simply impossible to break, it feels like, at times. So, Tespa Carleton, they will get a significant amount of time on the backside of the scrap 20 from that second hard point, but ULL, their next focus, zone up the middle of the map, get some free time on the smokestack, and well, they've done just that. A pretty solid start here for the Raging Cajuns still, even considering they did get broken for the tire shot.
Yeah, and even getting that certain series of points on P1 plus P2. Tespa Carleton are still keeping this relatively close. 35 seconds left here in the smokestack hardpoint. 1 more good hit is going to come through from Tespa potentially to break this 4 scrap, but most importantly to give themselves the office space so that way they can find themselves breaking as many discs as possible to get this hardpoint within their name. Trophy system's going to be in there to keep themselves a little bit further alive. 15 seconds left and counting on down for ULL to try to get this last bit of breadcrumb time in their name, but take a look at the mini-map to where Tesla are actually spawning. They're spawning on the northwest side, right outside of P5. This is a really good setup for them, not only for P4, Alan, but they can also get themselves a real good setup for P5.
And again, considering the slow start, and again, the dominating start for ULL, this is the first technical hardpoint that Carleton could potentially use to really find significant time. They had to break P2. Because they found the scrap, they had to break P3. Now they're set up to contest the initial 20 of this 4th hardpoint, and look at that. It is turning up in their favor. Just a touch. Cashier by himself has to wait for some help. He does so very nicely, and 47 is able to do up with him for 2. It wasn't sure there's a player behind him or not. Has to find another weapon, and Cashier, well, he is able to ching that one into a couple of kills, and now he's finding himself potential for maybe a 3rd, and the trade is there for Hawk. And with that, that will be the last bit of pressure for the Raging Cajuns to take it away. And Tespa Carleton are in their first position to potentially swing the lead into their favor.
Shift, how about this? Hawk is leading the KD ratio for Carleton at 18 and 10. Guess who's in second? Purple Penguin. They have been having themselves quite the day here on stream. I'm not going to lie to you, even against Oregon. Turned up, but Georgia Southern also found themselves value. Now looking to make ULL taste their flippers, if you will, for as much pressure as they are looking to put on. Again, Tespa Carleton on the west side of the map. They get the initial time here on P5, and a good amount of kills coming through. Catch and Hawk combined for 4. It's just Astro and Zots that find any sort of kills possible, but meeting them at the gates quite literally is 47, stuffing the first attempt for ULL to break into P5.
One player sitting on the slant by the smokestack, looking to make him play up to the third, but, well, 47 will deal with that. Turns for a second. Nicely done. Good intuition for 47's got one more up close. Goodness, if he wins that one, it would have been something special for sure. But again, the scrap 20 coming into play here for Carleton, and as they alleviate the pressure, they're going to start realizing, all right, we can start making our move across the map. But as I say that, it's money. He's the one sitting in the backside of the office, making sure nobody rotates through. But what in the world was that spawn for Thief? He spawns on the backside of office, and now all of a sudden he just says, thank you very much, I'll put myself in useless. And in no instance, in no way is ULL going to expect this. Now they're going to have some kind of an idea because they're spawning out towards P5, and ooh, that's about as COD Modern Warfare as I've ever seen when it comes to spawns.
And this is why Hackney Yard Hardpoint is Shift's favorite map game mode combination, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. There's no sarcasm behind that at all. But at the end of the day, Tespa Carleton are going to be able to reap the benefits from the luck of the Modern Warfare spawns, and they're going to be able to find themselves on the initial time for P1. So now you got Thief just playing the anchor over in the useless building. They get another spawn that's going to be Hawk that comes into the backside. Now they can just flood in single file line, so that way they can try to keep this contested for a time being. Look at the point and how it flipped. Raging Cajuns found themselves at a certain amount of lead coming into through the first rotation of hardpoints, but Tespa Carleton through 4 and 5, they pieced together a multitude of time through those series of hardpoints to then find themselves here in the favored P2 area, to where they look to not only get a sufficient amount of time on P2, but potentially a full 60 the way that they're set up.
And again, Raging Cajuns, you have to break this. If you let a full 60 go, might as well call it quits. It's going to be 220 to 110. Hayden, Money, able to find a couple of kills initially, but Team Thief able to find one. Penguin will deal with the pressure up close and personal in the lower side of the garage, and there's the full wipe. First attempt has been thwarted from ULL and the Raging Cajuns. You got to set up. You got to find a good hit for another. You cannot just trust individuals to make a special play happen, and Bandit's able to find 2 kills, but again, what does that turn into? The answer is absolutely nothing. So now 47 will do up with 2 of his own, which once again, as the second hit's coming through, well, it's not going to lead to much of anything. And the Raging Cajuns, they will actually sneak Zots through a smoke. It's going to be a 1v1 for hill time, of which Zots wins. So, okay, you actually break for the scrap 20, and Carleton are going to be okay giving them the majority of that time. Purple Penguin under minimap will try to make a play for the scrap, but he gets shut down. So, not out of the realm of possibility. If they can find a way to take down 47 in the back, there could be the potential for them turning scrap into initial here at P3. But again, as they get 1 kill on the money, everybody from Carleton spawn up behind P5. Now all you got to do is flood from the high ground. That's exactly what occurs as 47 finds his 5th kill in this life.
That is through 2 sets of rotation of hardpoints at the tail end of the smokestack P3, of which Carleton find themselves on the northwest side of the spawn, favoring for that P5 area, of which they can continuously flood in towards that office building. All of this time, 30 seconds left now in P3 is allotted towards the game clock. Tespa Carleton will finally put a player on there. It's going to be really hard to keep your players on here for the time being with the choke out that you have from the Raging Cajuns, so whether they were set up across the map on the top L fashion, and also with Money pushing themselves into the hard point, is able to put a little bit more time into the bank for Raging Cajuns. Now you got to be really looking towards Bandit and Peyton to be able to hold down this office building to push Tespa back as well as they possibly could, because you don't want them to get too comfortable onto this office. If you remember back on the first set of hardpoints, where they found themselves a solid 50+ stringing together from this office hardpoint of P4 into the dock building of P5.
Once again, Tespa Carleton, they were good here last time. They could win the game very easily and very quickly here. Raging Cajuns looking to set up a multi-pronged attack here as they're trying to work their way through the parking lot and the side door at the same time. Most of it has been dealt with as Cashier, again, is checking everybody out. Carleton, though, not fully in control of the hill again, though, as here comes one more contest. Penguin is able to get a collateral as his 2 players stacked on top of himself. Bandit has to make a play happen. He will find 2. Hawk from the back will clean it up. 245 to 143 the score currently. One more contest from Astro. He's not able to do enough, and I don't think Money could get there in time. No, not enough. 250, 143. Carleton off to a good start.
And let's not forget, too, just how out of the gates the Raging Cajuns really started this entire bout. But through sheer resilience, Carleton were able to find a late break on the P2 initially with an opening wipe to push Carleton back. And then they also were able to find themselves favorite spawns for P5, P4, of which they were able to fend back the Cajuns that much further. But then they were also gifted that P2 spawn. Very, very interesting. Nevertheless, we'll just call it for what it was, to where they really started to grow their lead that much further, and where they were able to win this out by 107 seconds of hill time. And that was just very impressive, even starting on the tail end of getting absolutely wiped off the initial 50-50. But that sheer resilience that Carleton are able to show, that's what championship teams are made of.
And, you know, there's something to be said when Hawk and 47 are making as many plays as they are, even if their KDs don't necessarily reflect the highest KD ratio overall. The fact that they're finding so many engagements is giving a lot of space to really, honestly, if you really, really look at what's going on in these respawns, it's giving a lot easier engagements for everybody else. Because Hawk and 47 are making all of these wild plays around the map on the outer parts of it, everybody else essentially can just hold their gun up and watch throughout the middle of all of that. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing so much success from people like Team Thief and Purple Penguin. But that, again, how about this little statistic? We didn't get a chance to talk about it. Carleton, that was their first time that we've seen them in the regular season or the playoffs play Hackney Yard. So that was what I would imagine was ULL's map pick, as they were previously 7-1 on the map. Now they're 7-2. And we're jumping into a Gunrunner Search and Destroy where, again, Louisiana Lafayette looked lost on this map versus LA Tech earlier today. And they're going to have to find a way to kind of correct those mistakes, as they're going to be quickly starting off on the offense here on Gunrunner Search.
This is actually Carleton's first time in playoffs playing on the Gunrunner Search and Destroy. So not a lot of information to be tacked on over to them statistically. They've only played it once throughout the regular season, I believe, maybe just a handful of times. Yes, it was actually just once, of which they actually lost to Penn State White. Yeah. So this is a little bit more of a weaker map per se, I guess, just in that one loss for Tespa Carleton, and just right off the gate, just trying to find themselves a strong defense there on Gunrunner S&D. The offense definitely have the clear-cut decision just to rush over to the bomb site next to the cargo containers. Get a very easy plant. It comes down to a post-plant situation right there where the numbers never favored Carleton. First round going in the favor of the Cajuns, of which it was also on offense.
And again, much more cool, collected, and just controlled. One of the things that we kind of noticed when ULL was playing this map versus LA Tech was they they never controlled the middle of the map. Right. They were trying to respond to things from the backside of bomb sites, or trying to just a full flood forward on the outer parts of bomb sites when they were on offense, and it just wasn't working out all that well for them. And so now we see what the Raging Cajuns have to offer here on their first defense. And for the side of Carleton, heavy stack over towards B. Most importantly is number 9. That's Hawk, who's trying to make a play through bathrooms. He's been figured out, so he will play his life for a little bit longer. And with that, he will be text away. But again, that's one of those instances where who was it that was up front? It was Hawk. Who's right behind him? It's 47. Tespa Carleton is trying to get this duo online first before Purple Penguin, Team Thief, or Cashier really get involved. So now you've got Penguin with the bomb. He's not 100% sure how he wants to approach this B site. There's not a lot of utility left for Carleton as a whole. Plus, in this 4v4, you've got no information as far as where anybody else is. Zot's from inside the bathrooms with an AR, finding one. J-Money with a wide peek out of Purple Penguin for the second. And now ULL. This is a much different look for them on Search and Destroy, as they're currently up to a 4v2 here on their first defense.
Yeah, very strong setup for them coming on through. Yeah, Thief was able to sit there and find Zots. It's still a player advantage there for the Raging Cajuns, of which you still have to work to pick up this bomb that's in the alleyway next to the green warehouse. But Cash able to get that big kill over top on the Payton, opens things up a little bit more. Dead Silence is still booming on through as they get a little extra movement. They kill off Money inside the cargo containers. Bandits right there to take down Cash, but the bomb's still planted. Playing their life the best they possibly can is Thief. They're going to go ahead and gun themselves right back behind the turbine, and they keep their life.
All you have to do here if you're Thief is just play the time. He's going to get a long-range angle, and I'm not going to lie to you. That was just simply a mistake from ULL. Simply put, you're in a 1v1. You're watching your opponent make their way over to turbine, and Bandit just unfortunately takes a couple of undisciplined trigger shots into the back of Team Thief, who was already almost around the backside of the rock, let alone the generator or the turbine, whatever you want to call it. And he doesn't give the jump on him. At that point in time, Thief knows exactly where he is able to win a very good 1v1. And that's just, again, one of those small instances where you kind of look at ULL and say, my goodness, why couldn't you just play that differently? You wonder how that might impact this entire search and destroy.
We have to find out. Trades coming through. There's a numbers advantage in the favor for Carleton. Cash and Penguin take down 2. Zots able to trade back onto Cash. Bomb still being carried by Astro. Trying to work something mid-map. It's going to be Zots trying to force their way into the showers via the waterway. I like this actually coming through from the Cajun. Peyton and Astro that are left alive. Astro with the bomb. Dead silence halfway through. Start clearing out through the train carts. No players for Carleton here, so it's going to be a free bomb plant. The numbers advantage, yes, by 1. It's going to be really interesting to see how Tespa Carleton try to take this back. Peyton starting to work their way towards the AC unit. Astro is just going to be right underneath them over by the door, right behind the barrel, and Penguin can't get the kill, but the trade is there for 47. You got to be careful, though. Peyton's over top. The smoke comes through. This is going to be troublesome. 47 could absolutely be baiting out their teammate just to try to find a couple shots. Peyton comes over the top and is able to find 47, but stuck the defuse like you said there.
No.
Whoa. Oh.
Carleton got eliminated at the last second. Wait a second. Oh, he gets damage
hit the OD.
Semtex and then just
in the drag.
The spray.
Wow.
God. Yeah, claps all around in the chat. PogChamp clap for that one.
That's
I
incredible.
thought for sure that was going to be stuck. I mean, again, we saw the Semtex go overhead, but I just thought it was going to go deep. And not the case at all. He finds the tag up and in the smoke just transfers the spray and finds the one bullet that he needed right in the nick of time. So, hell of a play there for Peyton to just win the first and know that the second was nearby. Zots gets aggressive this time through the green window. Money is well able to find one more. And Hawk, yeah, sure, you found one kill pushing through, but you didn't have any help to exit, and he will be traded. So again, a much better look here for ULL, generally speaking. Now, that last play was just a special moment from Peyton, but in this one, this is just good clinical search and destroy defensively for the Raging Cajun.
100% the case, and you can see why they wanted to come back here on Gunrunner. Maybe they knew something, especially being able to study tape, potentially, versus Penn State White. I don't believe that there was any tape available, considering that match wasn't on stream, but still, knowledge is still there. I understand that this might be a weaker map for Carleton, where they can't find as much value. Trying to get out with their life. It's going to be a 1v4 for Cash. I have to wait for the regen. 30 seconds left. And the bomb in utmost precarious position. With an SMG, it's going to be really hard to lock down those longer range shots. As they, by proxy, understanding where Cash is located at, and ULL go up 3-1.
Well, much different look here for ULL. Again, they got smoked here versus LA Tech. I don't know if they've just took some time to talk over the map or what, but that's just a hell of a change so far for ULL. Carleton, well, how do you battle back? What kind of resiliency do you have built up here? And so now you're going into a 1-3 down on the defense. Really, again, everyone's participating evenly with the exception of Zots. If you just wipe off that 8-2, this seems like a pretty even game, but Zots is really tilting the scales here into ULL's favorite, and well, we talk about him, and he comes up at the negative end of Hawk's AR, so now all of a sudden there's a 5v4, but it's not going to deter Astro from sticking the plant. It just comes down to will he be able to exit? Big 1v1 here between 47 and Bandit, and that was all for mid-map control. So now ULL, even the numbers, get the bomb planted, and Tespa Carleton are going to have no idea that Astro stuck the bomb after the plant came through, and now they do because they got one kill. Nice shots from Hawk for a second. Now it's going to be a 3v2. And Thief is aware that Bandit's on the backside, but he's made his way back over to the bomb. We'll check this. Peyton for another big pickup will be taken care of. But now Bandit, all he's got to play with is one stun. Has found the first, checks the bomb, nobody home. Just has to kill another 5 seconds. Thief has to find the kill immediately, and he's not able to do that. Nice play from Bandit as he secures the 4th round for the Raging Cajun.
Really good post-plant situation right there for Bandit. All the know-all, be able to lay down a Semtex on the opposing side, the front entrance towards the center of the map of Showers, and then exit through the backside. Fantastic setup right there for Bandit to be able to walk away with a clutch moment for them. What was that, about a 1v2, if not 3? for them to find those last few kills in the round. Well, you're going to be able to need this. This is very different of how I'm sure a lot of us thought that this Gunrunner Search and Destroy was going to end up going. But like you said, Shift, Raging Cajuns, University of Louisiana Lafayette, they're starting to look pretty darn stellar on this map. They look comfortable, to say the least. 47's going to be there to find first blood. Why not make it 2? Yeah, sure, go for it, man. Not going to be able to push the envelope that much further. No, absolutely not.
He
still has Dead Silence to play with.
He really wants to get into these bathrooms here. He's putting a lot of pressure. It's actually forcing ULL to stay pretty passive on the backside, not to mention the fact that it is now a 5v2. Dawson Astro, nice drop shot from 47. That's just something different compared to what we normally see here on the CCL. Challengers player for a reason. ULL not quite able to get this one away as 47 makes a special 3K coming through. And with that, now all of a sudden it's a 4-2 score. But again, this next round, like the one previous, feels like a must-win round for Carleton. You do not want to go down 5-2 versus this ULL squad who has shown a lot of pressure on the map. And if you're resorting on Hawk or 47 to find the picks, well, how are you going to do that? Are you going to SMG rush? Are you going to try to get some opening line of sights potentially over here towards A? Because this is where Raging Cajuns are going. And it just depends on if they've read this correctly. It's going to be down to Team Thief to give the information away. Smoke will come into play. Purple Panga for one in the middle of the map. And oh boy, this is looking really bad for ULL. The right play right now might not be to plant the bomb, but just rotate it back over to B, but they're going to stick it. So now a 5v3. The map has flip-flopped from where we initially started the round. But this is not a 3v5 of where you feel good about the Raging Cajuns. They're going to have to find a number of isolated gunfights. Team Thief for the first long-range shots from Cashier, actually tagging more of his teammate than he does his opponent. But 47, with the numbers, is just going to stick the bomb defuse. He's going to promptly get it as no one's even close to contesting it.
Oh, Money and Payton are going to be right there to take down 2, but that's a stick that ends up coming through. Carleton encroaching on the lead, making this a 1-round deficit. ULL having a hard time putting themselves up on map point 2. And like you said, I mean, once those kills ended up coming through, Gunrunner Search and Destroy, it's not a very long map, especially comparatively to where else we see Search and Destroys, such as Arklov Peak, same Petrograd, where it can take a little bit longer for those mid-map rotations. But defensively, for Gunrunner, yeah, it's not going to take much time for them to be able to cut through the boiler room, through the coal mines to get on the opposing side, of which you saw Tespa Carleton at the B bomb site had to have been open. That maybe you've had to gone through maybe one member of Tespa for ULL to get that plant on the B. A fumble that might come back to bite them in the rear. We'll see towards the tail end of this round or potentially the next. Purple Penguin with the bomb per usual. 47 good movement. Oh!
Okay, Peyton gets one at range and 47 just walks into his line of sight. Now it's on Cashier. Peyton's not done. Oh man, is a god among men on top of this open cargo container as he finds himself 3, 8, and 4 now for Peyton. Team Thief 1v4, make it a 1v3. He's got the bomb to work with and Dead Silence, and he's also found an SMG, so he's got everything he needs to potentially make this moment happen. But it would still be something of a miracle. 35 seconds to play, and now he's been tagged up. That's going to be at least information. All right, he's mid-map. Position ourselves accordingly. Don't let him have any space to work with. And, well, maybe the most obvious place is the place he's going to hit, and that might actually lead to an opportunity. I think he actually knows there's a player behind him. Here's the Dead Silence, but he'll going to find one. Now a 1v2. Does he have time to get to the A site? He sure does, but he's going to bait this. Oh, my God. Team Thief.
It's the timing.
2 million IQ. Are you kidding me?
The timing of their career. Thief's going to get the plant. And Raging Cajuns are aware of this now. Oh, man. Thief might end up stealing the round. Money doesn't have that silence to play with. Timing's right there to be able to find Bandit, but wasn't able to take down Money, and Money's going to go ahead and let them know you're not squeaking this round away. ULL Raging Cajuns are going to put themselves up on map point 5-3 here on Gunrunner Search and Destroy.
That's an elite play for Team Thief. Flat out. I mean, everything that he did right there was perfect, with the exception of not being able to get the full 1v1 challenge versus Money at the end. But again, that's just because ULL, they played their numbers correctly at the end. But that's an elite play from Team Thief. Getting the first, immediately hitting the Dead Silence, making the noise through boiler. I mean, that's clinical for a potential 1v4. But regardless, it will not occur here. And with that, ULL will be on map point. 5-3 the score total here so far. Zots has cooled off significantly. He was 8-2 at one point, now 9-6. You can do the math as far as the differential, and well, let's make it even worse. 9-7. Astro able to find one, but Hawk finds another pick, and with that, numbers still stay in the favor of Carleton for a small moment. 3-on-3. Astro in a very risky position with the bomb inside bathrooms with no help at all. He'll now streak across to the bomb site, and he should be able to get this down for relatively free, but the exit is the question. Hawk actually gets the kill before the bomb gets planted. And now a big advantage here in this 3v2 for Tespa Carleton as they know exactly where the bomb is.
Real tough. You gotta be able to find at least 2 picks before you can even work your way over to the bomb site. Cash is gonna put themselves right behind this unkempt tuft of grass. One player on the oil turbine, the other one's gonna hop out of green. Gonna work their way across P1 and into the shower doors. Bandit finds Cash's head at a really good moment of time. Hawk gonna be pushing themselves through the waterway. 47 finds really well-trained shots there on a Bandit. Inside the showers, and yep, there you go. There's the visual coming on through. I believe that was also dead silence being popped there for Peyton, hoping to make the play come through. Well, they might just end up just trying to bait this one out even that much further. 47 gets tagged up, just brings himself back, but Peyton has been on an absolute tear.
It's all about who can run faster. Oh, my goodness.
That was hot and heated right there. It was a big old game of tag that you do not want to lose if you're Tespa Carleton. 47, though, being able to read that, getting the sound that he was being chased by Peyton. Only had 1 second to keep their life or find the kill, of which they did find the kill, keeping themselves alive. Again, map point here for the Raging Cajuns. Can they close it out here on Search and find a much-needed Search and Destroy victory? It would be their first in playoffs. It would be a monumental one, especially against Tespa Carleton.
Sure would be, especially again, they've been not great in Search so far. Team Thief is going to go back to the sniper rifle. He found little to no value the last time he tried it a couple of rounds ago on offense. So will this be a concealed pick?
Oh, no. You gotta hit those.
Oh, no.
It was so gifted.
Yeah, it really was.
Tough scenes. It's going to be showcasing their play, though. You know that they're not going to be giving up any more sniper opportunities. The Team Thief, you see how the red arrows have pulled themselves back. To not be in the line of the scope. That allows Purple Penguin with Dead Silence in tow. Start pushing up, and they get the bomb plant. Cash still finds first blood. Like you said, those are huge kills, actually. Find themselves as a 2-player advantage. Bandit's going to go ahead and bust right through the shower doors, and that might just be the final nail in the coffin. I mean, yeah, Peyton, you're at 10-6, but can you pull out the 1v5, my man? You've already found one on the Cash, but you have been snuffed out. Shots are going to come through, but it's not going to be enough. Carleton send this to a round 11.
No chance. And honestly speaking, I think if you're Carleton, I think you want the offense again. I really do. Again, if you're not familiar, Call of Duty will essentially not randomize, but will choose who gets what side depending on your composite score. And it's not going to be Carleton on offense. I was about to say, you know, with the sniper play coming in, they weren't going to be tested at the backside. All you got to do is get the bomb down, and the sniper can just watch over the top. They're not going to have the opportunity to do that here. So now it's just down to what they do defensively, and more importantly for the Raging Cajuns, can you find some sense of success that you had in the early parts of this game? Again, they're not putting a lot of attention to the middle of the map. They're playing very passively. You see number 8 is Cashier. He's currently sitting in the vent itself by the look of it. And there are 3 members of Carleton defensively holding outside of B. 47 inside the showers. We'll watch a nade come his direction and just very well step away from this. And again, it comes down to the timing of that peak. Peyton's going to make maybe some noise and give an opportunity for someone to go over to A, but Team Thief is holding it off angle behind the water tower, and that's a big first blood. Zots responds in the middle of the map, though, and with this, the bomb's going to look to go down. It's Hawk and a check that's not going to be able to. The bomb's going to be planted, and now all of a sudden, ULL have numbers in the plan in their favor.
Play number 4, Zots is on the chase, trying to chase Thief, but he's unable to find the kill. Thief from over top of the training cars is trying to find them, but Zots goes absolutely huge. Purple Penguin did find Astro, but that's all they're going to be able to find. Raging Cajuns shut down in round 11 against Carleton there on Gunrunner Search and Destroy, evening up the set, 1 apiece.
Hell of a ride there for ULL. A really solid start for them. A couple of really tight rounds again. Peyton having himself a heck of a mid-map there all the way through those middle rounds, and he finds himself 10 kills. Zots will regain a little bit by the end as he eventually gets to 11, but a very tight one here as we get to round 11. So now we look forward. It's going to be another gun runner for the domination. And again, statistically, this isn't really necessarily bad news for either team as they have played a lot here. But that said, versus just playoff teams, whether it was in the regular season, in their divisions, or in the playoffs so far, the tally actually favors that of Carleton rather considerably. And that's where things, again, don't feel so good for you, Mr. Iron Man. As for ULL, not only do they have to go back to this map, but they have actually, well, I guess I won't say necessarily bad, because now that I'm actually looking at this more specifically, ULL has put up a pretty good showing on this map. A 201-97 versus Oklahoma State. They absolutely wiped the floor there. Plus, they beat Rutgers Scarlet here 158-145. So it's been a little bit of a hard to predict map so far, honestly speaking, for ULL, who also recently got blown out on this map by LA Tech 94-210. So that's, and probably we talked about this in the prediction show. This ULL team is super unpredictable. We see moments of greatness mixed up with moments of just the opposite of greatness. Some pretty awful moments. So really, for me, this comes down to which team are we going to get here in this very key map number 3 in a 1-1 series.
I find myself, and even in the prediction show, I said that exact phrase. I'm not too sure what Raging Cajun squad that we're going to be able to get across from a multitude of these map shifts. But I mean, being able to showcase and the strength that they did at the first hard point of this set on Hackney Yard, they look stellar. And even in through a multitude of those rounds, though it got really tight there on Gun Runner Search and Destroy, I would expect the series to continue to stay close. Raging Cajuns are absolutely heating up to the spice of their name. And they're going to need all of that, especially against this very strong Tespa Carleton team, who are going to be gung-ho to be able to meet as many strong teams as possible. 47 and Hawk, they want to be able to do it. But on the same side, ULL, they are damn determined to be able to show everybody that they are the team to be talked about.
Hey, they were very vocal after our prediction show about what they think they are individually as a squad. Now is the time to show up versus a very tough opponent here. We'll send things to a small break. When we come back, we'll be jumping straight into Gun Runner domination. Don't go too far. This is the final match of not just the night, but of the weekend here with College COD Playoffs. And you're not going to want to miss the epic conclusion to this one between Carleton and ULL. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 3, the domination on Gun Runner. We've seen moments of greatness mixed with moments of, well, not so much greatness from ULL. Which one will occur here? Carleton, of course, a pretty stalwart opponent, looking to make things in their favor in the map count. And, well, the first handful of kills will turn in their favor as they spawn from the A side. And with these kills, they'll turn it into some instant success here at B as they try to get the pick. Bandit will come through. Not sure if there's anybody else still laying prone, and a little bit awkward there coming through as 47 will actually just win the last 1v1 as J-Money unfortunately took down a teammate. But still, the flag will stay neutral. More progress leaning towards Carleton than ULL at the moment. And as Cashier gets back into the mix, well, he'll find a couple of kills to make sure that it stays the case.
The real question is here is that can Raging Cajuns take the momentum that they were able to find from that 6-5 victory in round 11 on this very same map, but for Search and Destroy into this domination? You're able to hold on to both the C and the B flag for the time being at the start. Its C flag did get neutralized. Carleton will resecure the A. Raging Cajuns look to split just Payton to capture it back onto the C flag. A moment of opportunity and a big potential 1v1. 47 will not come out on top of to try to push over towards that B flag. So still stalwart for Tespa Carleton to try to break through the coal mines to get this B flag in their name. And we'll have to think that sooner rather than later, if the Raging Cajuns find themselves a serious amount of kills, that they can start pushing themselves in towards the A flag area to get that to be their home.
Well, the instance of this is going to have to be off a solo play on multitude of fronts. You've got, of course, Payton working towards A, but you only have a couple of individuals for ULL that were initially put in their position over towards the B flag. Money's able to do a nice job to find two. Payton will almost get a neutral, but doesn't necessarily read that Team Deep had spawned behind him in the woods, and I guess why would you? You're anticipating them coming through boxes, but it was a little bit of an off spawn there for Carleton. They turned that into their advantage as they do actually hold on to A. I know what the graphic in the middle top looks like, but that flag is still in possession of Carleton. Not being depleted, though, means that Bandit's going to streak forward, and he's just going to step on it for a second. That's a neutral. And even though it's not necessarily a full capture that you want, Zotz is going to read this player, you thought, right underneath, so that's enough for one to keep things neutral. And now off the second set of respawns, ULL should have numbers to approach over to the B flag, but Hawk and 47, once again, a very deadly duo, will slow things down a touch as ULL cannot fully commit to going for a neutral yet.
Numbers still in the advantage for ULL, though, to be playing this B flag. They have 4 members over here now for the 3. For Tespa at the front, though. In the flank by way of Boiler Room, Tespa are starting to stack their numbers. Onto the backside is Zotz, though. Pokes right out. Finds Purple Penguin. 47 on the opposing side is able to find 2. Inside Dark here on Coal Mine. Zotz gets tagged up. He's going to bring themselves back. So good mid-map control so far for Raging Cajuns. You just have to turn this back into a B flag control. It gets neutralized by 47, and they're starting to get the control. Snaps on the money, tries to wait for the timing against Astro, has to break themselves back towards the Boiler Room, but not without capturing the B flag first. And it's a really good coverage, especially with Hawk holding onto the dark side, just looking to see if any players start coming through. It's going to actually be Zotz that then soon to follow. Gets the opening shots actually onto Hawk, and ends up getting the kill. 47 is on a rampage. 5 straight, 12 and 6. They're double positive. Make that 6 straight, 13 and 6. Just absolutely drops down, adds an extra little bit of spice at the end of it.
And now Hawk, you look at him, full side stairs.
Ooh.
He's got one in front of him. 47 and Hawk, we talked about it. You could say all you want about the other 3 members, but when Hawk and 47 are combining like they are for 10 kills straight, well, you mentioned Hawk in the darkness, and he says, oh, the darkness, merely adopted the dark. He is owning everything here in the coal side. He will eventually go down, but it's not before Carleton take the lead back.
Confirm Hawk is Bane. I'm going to have to make sure that they know this. Real good dominance, though, and even though Raging Cajuns have been finding themselves a multitude of fronts of continuously finding the B flag earlier on, they're going to be getting it back in their name, and they still hold the lead. It is abysmal. Tespa Carleton are only leading by 3, now by 2, so they're going to have to be able to work back over towards the B flag. Zotz for 3. They add that extra bit at end of the clip back into Cashier's body, but Purple Penguin says, that's my dead comrade, you stop. But Tespa Carleton now being able to take the numbers and absolutely march back over towards the B flag. A is being neutralized for Raging Cajuns. C is also being worked as well. There are no flags actually being held whatsoever. A stalemate coming through, of which the only point advantage is Raging Cajuns by 1. And Carleton's going to take A back in their name. C will go back over towards Louisiana Lafayette as well as B. Very awkward moment indeed, my friend, but at the end of it all, it will actually be 75-73 for ULL, who are starting on the A side.
We mentioned it before, and I just have to reiterate it one more time here. Simple fact of the matter was when Hawk and 47 are doing incredible things individually on opposite sides of the map, it turns into moments where the other 3 only have to worry about watching one thing. That's really what it feels like is the strategy here for Carleton is let us go run wild. You guys just play behind us and watch the angles that we aren't watching. And worst case scenario, we die and you know what to watch. So that's turning into a handful of kills here. And wait a second, I thought for sure someone just caught a Semtex mid-air, but everybody from Tespa Carleton got tagged up. None of them fully getting killed. 47 winning one gun battle. Hawk able to get there for the trade, and with the team kill from Payton, it's actually going to lead to numbers here on the B flag for Carleton to instantly have a CB hold up until Payton tries to make a solo play on the C flag.
And Thief actually worked their way over the half wall and found Astro. So now you got 2 players playing Ring Around the Rosie over by the warehouse will actually chase down Thief. 3 kills there in sequence for Raging Cajuns, but what you got to turn this into is map pressure. You also have player number 3 on board here with Caden, finding themselves on the backside of the train cars right outside the munitions depot, is looking to at least keep the C flag in Raging Cajuns' name. They've already put it back in their name, but you got to be careful because spawns have actually flipped. They were looking potentially for some exit eliminations. Maybe Raging Cajuns something they know that I don't. I'm not too sure. Maybe they would rather be on the C side of the map. I'm not too sure why, but at the end of it all here, Shift, it's going to be an AB hold for Carleton.
Semtex plays it for Astro, has to avoid the response from 47. Both players going prone, looking to re-engage on this heady v heady battle. And while that's occurring, it's ULL Raging Cajuns who are not only just flooding to B, but they're also flooding to the middle of the map, but 47 takes down 2. Astro responds to double of his own, but again, there aren't enough numbers here for ULL to fully commit unless they take down Cashier. He was holding the clutch spot, and with that, ULL will get a neutral on B. Zotz, I think he just threw a nade and the body of Team Thief. He'll come back to it, realizing, oh, I did actually hit somebody with that stun, and he will find a kill. So again, it's going to be tied here in just a moment. It's going to be 102 to 101, and with that in the mix, ULL still putting pressure down at B. They will flip the lead back one more time in the next 5 seconds.
Zotz going big for 3 there. Will end up getting gunned down by Thief. Now looking to work their way towards the B flag. Big kill there for 47. Why not make it 2? 23 and 14, by the way. Did not get the timing that they wanted to, especially ADSing towards the boiler room. Cut mid-sprint is J Money. They will lose their life because of it. A and B in firm control. There's also a player working their magic onto C. That is player number 8. It is Cash. Cash won't be able to find the 2 in sequence of one another, but splitting the resources is really well done for Carleton as they start building the lead by 5.
ULL's playing this correctly. They're playing slowly through Cole. Get the C flag back, send these 2 members through the middle of the map, and recut back either over to B or make the long play for A. They're going to opt for the long play to A, and this is going to be a 2v2 for the A flag. They actually get some reinforcements spawning up close, and Bandit wins the double kill. So now you've got an opportunity. Not only are you holding the C flag, you're zoning the C flag out, and you're going to capture A unless Thief has something to say about it. He's still in the mix, looking for players essentially playing for their life, but he's missed them completely. And now it's going to be an A-B hold for ULL as we get down underneath the 2-minute mark. And, well, actually, the Raging Cajuns, they've got nobody staying home at all. Everybody's committed past the 50-yard line. This is dangerous. ULL could very well find themselves the victim of a north-south spawn area. And Carleton is about to have an AC hold for free.
And they do just that, Shift. You see one player now spawning in over by the tree side. That's going to be Hawk. 3 players working over towards the A flag. Spawn split again. Just because the Raging Cajuns did absolutely nothing to defend the home flag of A. Let's not forget that Thief had been back there the entire time, cleared out the entire area, said, guys, this place is pretty clear. And because of where the Raging Cajuns push over towards the B flag, you got the south spawns coming through from Carleton. And just like that, you have no choice, Raging Cajuns. You have to suffice with yourself with the C flag. 47's going to try to secure the B flag. It's getting close. They capture it. And some good shots right there on the money. Although traded out via Semtex, the numbers advantage on the B flag and in the coal mines are in the favor for Carleton. 52 seconds to play. 137 or 133. This is getting real tight. 5-point advantage now for Carleton.
ULL, you can win off 2 flags, and they're just splitting the map all over the place. Peyton currently is just existing far side of the south part of the rock. He's not going to be able to influence any objective. He's just going to get picked apart. Now Carleton will turn their attention back to the C flag, and it's moments like these that ULL, you're playing so gosh darn well throughout the entirety of the map, and then you just throw it away because we're not making decisions in the last 40 seconds. This game is going to be over unless they can find a triple cap, of which they're not fully able to do. 10-point gap, not going to be able to be made in 10 seconds, and Tespa Carleton will go up 2 maps to 1 after a nail biter that was once again tossed away by ULL in the last moments.
And this is all just, I mean, even at the beginning of the second half, trying to force the spawn flip, they had A convincingly in their name twice over in the second half. No one's there to defend it. And they just try to full commit over to C for what? It literally costed you the entire map. And now Purple Penguin's mad. You don't mess with an angry penguin, Shift. Let me tell you, I've been to the zoo. I've seen them mad. Don't mess with that. 32 and 20, by the way, for 47. Went on an absolute tear. The rest of their team not even dropping 20 kills. That's what's most impressive. J Money through all of it went 21 and 23 through entry eliminations, 26 and 21 for Zots. But again, just fumble after fumble. Inability to close out the map when the win condition was set right in front of their eyes. That's just tough scenes, especially if you're a fan of ULL.
It's like you're the Seattle Seahawks on the goal line about to win a Super Bowl. All you got to do is toss the ball to Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, and you decide we're going to pass.
Did you see the passion in his eyes? Look at the passion in Chip's eyes when he said that.
That was actually like moment in history. That was like the one moment like in sports history where I've never lost full harder. I didn't even know what losing full was back then, and I know that I lost full back then. Let's transition. 154, 145 for Carleton. Now we go to Azir Cave. And again, this is a map that has been mostly played more for Carleton than it has for ULL. This is where they can cement this game for 3-1 total. That's what the goal is here. They were able to take Georgia Southern down to the wire on this match. Most of it essentially being on the comeback effort. If one more rotation goes their way, they're in a position where they actually beat Georgia Southern on a map that Georgia Southern's very good at. So
yes.
Scary moment here for ULL. You've played this map a total of 3 times. The good news, I suppose, is that you did only lose the full sale on this midway through the CCL by only 8 points. But it's been some time since you essentially had a chance to really kind of play up against a solid opponent on this map. So I'm a little bit, again, you can take the stats for what they are. All Chef, they've been scrimming these maps. They'll be fine. I don't know why I give that weird grandma voice. But regardless, I just go off of what I've seen in match time game. And then so far, what we've seen is a 1-2 record for ULL, and it's been a while since they've played the map. So that's what I'm going off of.
Well, I'm gonna push the grandma stats that much further. 250 to 226 against Penn State White.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn stellar for a map that when me and Austin were casting this match earlier against Georgia Southern, we highlighted it time and time again. Carleton, they look best to where subs find the utmost value. The Azir Cave, like Brody was talking to you about at the top of the broadcast today, this is the one different map across a multitude of hard points to where AR presence is felt more than anything. Yes. Rotations are definitely as close to St. Petro per se, but the entry eliminations might not actually be there apart from a handful of maps. And we saw 47 even against Georgia Southern. They did everything they possibly could have, even at the tail end of P5 where they went 7 straight. It wasn't enough. Sub pressure is not going to be there. You need your ARs to step it up. And so for both these teams, you're looking for their ARs to be able to reign supreme. And I think that this is where Carleton are looking for their answer back at a very close Azir Cave versus Georgia Southern.
I think so. Just all you have to do if you're 47er Hawk is just take that one moment that was a mistake and say, we fixed that. We're golden, pony boys. Well, we'll kind of take a moment here and have our horses rest at the stable. This is a reference that's getting way out of line. We're going to go to a break. It's a 1 a.m. broadcast here in the CCL. Map number 4 is coming up on the backside of this break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're about ready to go. Gunrunner domination was already completed, so now we'll go to Azir Cave for map number 4. My hold shift with me is proper, and we're jumping straight on in. It'll be Carleton from the favored side of the map, as they'll be set up for a position to hold off for the P2 spawns. But how about this for the Raging Cajuns? They're going to have Bandit just playing as a distraction over towards the center town, and with that, everyone else will come to the cave system. But Carleton, have you read this correctly? Well, they're going to read it now as one kill comes into the backside, and ULL will actually automatically flip the spawns off the rip, and they've only given away 5 seconds of time. Not a bad start here for ULL.
Not a bad start at all here, Shift. They are able to cut through past the B-Dom flag where it normally resides, and they flip the spawn by way of the cave east entrance. Fantastic work for ULL. But again, you bring yourself back to the first hard point that we played here, and it was a great start for them at the same time. But they were unable to keep up with the pace for TESPA Carleton. Again, the one thing that I hit on before we hopped over to the break and before this map started was that TESPA Carleton on this map struggle because of the AR presence that you need to be able to find.
It's a little moment there from J Money, but we talk about TESPA Carleton. They turned bad into good here. as they're obviously not exactly happy about losing the P2 spawns, but they find 42 seconds on the main hill. So, hey, you take those. As long as you can find a way to contest, everything will essentially be neutralized and nullified going into the second hard point. Money is on a huge spree again. He's 6-3. Will be shot down by Cashier. Asher with a set nade right into the middle of the cave system will take down 2. The AR will do well for the third. 47 last one left alive for that attempt. And that will be Bandit finding the final kill. 5-man wipe. And now Carleton, they're actually committing to what is essentially a 3v5 to the cave system on the second attempt, looking a little bit disjointed. And now you're automatically seeing that Tespa Carleton are realizing, all right, this did not go very well for us. We're in the scrap 20. We want to just zone off for P3, and they back away to do just that.
Things are not looking up for Carleton on hitting P2. The lead isn't too far out of hand, though. Early rotation will grant Tespa Carleton initial time, especially with taking that elimination on the J Money. They're spawning back over towards P2. Scrap is going to go over towards the Raging Cajuns, but it comes down to the setup here. For Tespa Carleton, that was actually a really big kill onto Thief across the bridge. This is going to open up things across that broken area, both for Bandit and Payton. So that way they can start pushing on forward, but it's right into the gun spread of 47 where they take down both of them.
Man, this was really close to being a beautiful timing for ULL. They were running their way through the cave system in Main Street, get to the backside of this hill and try to spawn Tespa Carleton out. They'll finally make good on the numbers as Zotz is able to find 2, Bandit a third, and the hill will be contested as there's still 20 seconds of fighting to do here on this soccer field. And well, with that, Carleton are not going to opt to go for the rotation, at least not initially. They want to get this scrap time. They'll win the last gunfight, potentially. 47 will have a 1v1 versus Zotz, and he gets caught without his gun up. And now it's going to be down to Team Thief to try to make a play as he takes down Zotz, but now it's a 1v1 on the last part of the hill. And, well, he actually does get the kill there as well. So now all of a sudden, Tespa Carleton will find themselves up 83-60. But the Raging Cajuns are in a really good spot as they're zoning aggressively away from P4, which is exactly what you want to do. The only problem with this is they're very short-handed. So if they fall like they just did, now there's going to be numbers for Carleton to break. And guess what? They do just that.
They're able to do just that. You have 2 players on the opposing side of the chicken coop, though. Things could end up turning up for the Raging Cajuns' favor, but you got to be able to find the kills before that ends up coming in your name. 3 kills in sequence comparatively to the 2. Tespa Carleton will finally get gunned off the point. Astro and Payton are right there to combine for 4. Looks like the Tespa are trying to go for at least one more hit of this. At least 2 members are, and wisely so. So you can send the other 3 to the cave east exit, and putting yourself on the bridge hard point that's going to be P5. Want to be influencing into that, but it's actually a really big kill. J Money is able to find Hawk, but it's going to end up being Purple Penguin that shuts it back down, and Tespa Carleton, they will spawn back into Cave East.
Really lucky moment. You called out exactly correctly. There was that little hit for Tespa Carleton to try to break for scrap, and while that was happening, ULL was still committing to the rotation. If they find just one more kill, they might flip the spawn. So Carleton, lucky to hold on. Initial time of 15 seconds already come and gone. Nice little moment there for Cash as he's able to take down 1. And again, that alleviates pressure just from the bridge side alone. All of Carleton still up here. 4 members looking to defend. And unfortunately, J Money takes down Bandit, who was just about to get a kill on the 47. He was literally 1 bullet. Now he's able to get the regen off. His teammates are here to help reinforce him. And for the Raging Cajuns, you need to find another entrance, whether it's from the side of the back side of the cave or from the front from the bridge. And how about this? Cashier for 2, Thief another, and once again, Tespa Carleton bend but do not fully break as they're in a position to hold the final 13 seconds of this 5th hill.
Not enough bullets in that clip there for Payton to be able to string together 2 kills. Will lose their head by way of 47's gun. This is looking really good now. Again, like I said at the beginning of that first hardpoint that we played there on Hack the Yard in the first map of this last series of our evening, ULL started off really strong, but Tespa Carleton through the back end of P4 to 5, they find themselves a decent amount of time, even adding P3 into that mix, to be able to where they not only made things close, but they took the lead, and now they have ULL reeling. It's 141 to 104 as we go back towards the city center for a second set of hills.
Carleton did a nice job keeping the Raging Cajun spawn trapped a touch over towards what will eventually be our second hard point, top right-hand side of your mini-map. 47's on 6 straight. He got it done with the AR plus a pistol earlier, and now in this second part of this life, he's doing just as well. He's going to get information. There's one player potentially contesting him up top. We'll go for the one down low first. Turns around, not 100% sure where the kills are because his teammates have done a nice job of, again, giving him some help. And and that's going to be key for Tespa Carleton. You see that 47 is the guy that wants to make that play, but his teammates are helping and following through for the most part. Again, 47 is 20 and 11. He's doing a lot of the work for his squad. Cashier at 18-11 doing equal amounts of work. But again, everybody else is still finding influence, at least on the hill or on the map, as they're continuing to move pretty aggressively. But that said, ULL have stopped them in their tracks for a small moment, and with that, they will clutch up for at least 20 seconds worth of time here on P2.
They're still finding engagements too, the rest of the members for Tespa Carleton. ULL are not short of that at the same time. Payton's at 18 and 8, by the way. Can't go unnoticed. And at the same point in time for 18 and 14 for Astro, those two players are definitely laying in the slaying factor, along with J Money, who's at 19 and 20. Definitely a serious amount of engagements for player number 1 of ULL Raging Cajuns, though looking for a hard string of seconds in sequence of one another on the P2. The rest of the scrap time, at least the past 5 seconds, went up to the game clock, of which ULL desperately needed to get this lead ever so closer. It's only just about sub 40 seconds now, but Tespa Carleton, much like the previous set of hills, they find themselves on an early rotation over towards the soccer field, but there's more reinforcements over here for ULL. You do have player number 3 in Payton still playing back here. They took down Hawk, but didn't have enough bullets in their gun and couldn't swap to the pistol in time. The Purple Penguin's going to be able to take them down. It's going to be an initial time going in favor for Carleton, and the setup is really good. They have players towards the center of the map and over top of multiple headies looking over towards the broken building. 47 with a good snap there and kill on the Payton. And this is going to be a good initial time for Tespa Carleton, of which they will eclipse 200 points.
30 seconds already expired, 30 seconds more to fight for. Now it's Hawk's turn to essentially start popping off. He's got 2, make that 3. A 4th, 5th, and 6th are in front of him. If he can find the timing to line these up, there's number 4. Needs the turn for number 5. Goes to the pistol, you bet, man. Will essentially get some help from 47 and Penguin for the trades, and with that, the scrap 20 will go in favor of Carleton, who now will put themselves not just above 200 points, but how about 220? They'll be right short of 225 as we go to this 4th hard point.
That's very right. 223 is where they give it up. Well, what's even scarier is that ULL are only at 150. They try to set themselves up for the initial time, but coming in through the backside, right over the A-Dom flag side of the map, Cave West is where you find the value. And that's actually where 3 players for ULL come back in via the spawn. Players now over top of the workbench and over by the mid-cave cut. Tespa Carleton trying to find value in their numbers. That's Hawk at 29 and 24. Will trade their life. Payton, no money. Zots are going to be right there to be able to find a decent amount of trades. 47 and Hawk come back into the mix via the workbench, trying to find as much value as possible. Zots will take down 47 plus the EOD hit on the Hawk. Bending back Tespa Carleton for the time being, but they're going to have to play this really, really well just to keep themselves in this map and to keep themselves in the losers bracket. Let's not forget that Tespa Carleton lead this series 2-1.
Elimination match here. Potentially, and what seems to be right now, a likely elimination map. Unless ULL can find a way to get to P5. They struggled here last time, which is not good considering that you cannot give away another 20 seconds. And with Cashier just playing top cobble, he will put a pause to this hit, but nice shots from Zots. Takes Thief out of the backside of Useless, but no! Astro had another perfect pitch, but another teammate comes through and takes care of him. It's going to be a 1v2 for the hill. Cash will find one, not a second. And now the reinforcements. They're starting to make their way through the mid-cave cut, and it looks like ULL should have enough numbers to at least continue to contest this, but they need to win out these next couple of kills. Otherwise, the game will be over. 47 for 2, 47 for 3, 247. No, not quite. I was about to say, I thought for sure he was going to clutch the game up. Here comes Zots from the bridge. Now it's just down to J Money. Not going to get there in time. Tespa Carleton take the map and the series with the 250 to 177 here on Azir Cave.
And again, starting off just so wonderfully. You saw the breakthrough mid-cave for ULL to flip over to P2. They got P2 through 2 sets of hills shift, and it just wasn't enough. They were unable to break and convincingly put themselves on the soccer field and in the Cave West Hill and on P5. Those are very big money hills that you need to go in your name. 47 goes off, dropping 30. Going 37 and 27 was Hawk. The dynamic duo for Tespa Carleton keep their tournament hopes alive within the losers bracket, of which they'll be able to look forward into their next match, where they're going to end up facing the loser of Texas A&M Maroon and Purdue.
Oh boy.
Hey, I'm honestly looking forward to that one too. Both
That's
those
gonna be a
matches.
tough one.
Whoever wins that one and whoever goes down to face Carleton, those are going to be really good matches. That's going to be great.
Well, let's take a look at our losers bracket here as we wrap up the evening and our first weekend. Here are your teams that have essentially finished in the top 32 spot. Liberty Red, Butler, St. Clair Saints, Northern Iowa, Arkansas, RIT, Penn State Blue, and Maryland make the playoffs but finish top 32. And our second losers round, these are for top 24. Oklahoma State falling to ULL. Oregon not able to get anything going versus Carleton. Bowling Green State had a very good tournament, to be fair, but wasn't able to quite eclipse over Full Sail. UT Arlington, a lot of people had them as a potential Cinderella. Well, that crown will exchange heads here. Now Lebanon Valley is the one potentially looking to be potential Cinderellas. They were for a time. Grossmont falls to Alabama. UT Knoxville able to take care of Grand Canyon. Mississippi State not quite able to get the Map 5 versus UT Dallas. And Arizona State will all leave us in the top 24. And then as we've seen it, the most recent losers round 3, a top 16 finish for ULL, Lebanon Valley, UT Knoxville, and how about this? Rutgers Scarlet, as they do not quite take the full fifth map away from UT Dallas. So, again, those are your 4 teams waiting to play the losers of these matchups. We'll go to the top half of our winners bracket, where, again, this is where things get spicy in the winners bracket. Concord Maroon with a rematch set up for Illini Orange in the first winners quarterfinal. Texas A&M Maroon, like you mentioned, will play up against Purdue, and I'll just say it, you can boiler up all you want to, but if you don't search and destroy up, you're going to lose that matchup. Humber versus Penn State. White will be in the bottom side of our winners bracket. That's going to be an insane game. And then Georgia Southern will have a rematch scheduled with Louisiana Tech. All of those matches, as you might be able to see there in the bracket, will be coming to you May the 15th. Which is the next time that we will see each other. One hell of a first 2 days, those proper. And again, Cinderella's aside, it looks like just based on seeds alone, the only one that could potentially carry that mantra would be Carleton. They're our lowest seed. Nope, excuse me. Alabama is the potential Cinderella in the mix, as they're the number 14 seed coming in total out of the Southeastern Division.
Honestly, so I'm ULL taking Rutgers, winners round 1. Knocking them down and making Rutgers play with their backs against the wall. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And then to go map 5 against UT Dallas, where UT Dallas find themselves in continuous map 5s on over. I still can't even believe that Illini Orange squad 3-0 to UT Dallas in the way that they did as well. That match was insane. There's a lot of crazy things that are eye-opening. I mean, this is collegiate games within a nutshell too. You can almost think that you know how things are going to go, but when the tournament actually kicks off, everything is just thrown up in the air, much like how my papers were when I was in college, and then they are all just falling over the floor, and you just got to pick it up, and you got to be able to read them in whatever sequence that they come your way.
All right. Okay, I had my horse reference. You can have that one. We'll call it
Thank
even.
you.
We'll finish off
enough.
tonight, though. I just want to say a huge shout out, appreciation, and thank you to everybody on the back end to make this tournament work. You guys don't see how chaotic things get with people like Heat, who's trying to manage all of these league operations, the stats guys who are frantically going through screenshots to make sure that we look relatively smart, and of course our producers, Benji and Stents and Switchy, who have really done a lot of the legwork throughout the last 3 days. Stents doing not only a couple of help with production, but also casting on the Bravo stream. But Benji, who's been our mainstay producer here on Alpha, has been knocking out of the park, as he always does. So we'll be saying goodbye for the weekend until May the 15th. We'll catch you back with our final 12 teams in the Collegiate Call of Duty League. And until then, we hope that you keep holding it down.